let's have a little bit of fun with it. 5-a-side team of the best players that you've played with.
Well, I'll do 5 in A-League, so...
Okay, do 5 and 8.
Well, I'll put myself straight away first in.
So you got to keep yourself out.
I have to.
Yeah,
Rash
bro,
has made the
you've got a
rules.
trigger in the contract, bro. You can't play.
I'll put goalkeeper. I'll put Loza. Thomas Lawrence.
Oh, he was a beast.
I played with or played against? Or in A-League here? No, I played with.
Played with.
Okay, so Loza, Mathieu Delpierre.
Who's good in the A-League?
No. I played with in A-League, so it's quite... Brett Holman.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
3. I need a striker.
Feel like it's one of the two.
Nah, I'll probably go with Massimo Macaroni, probably.
Oh,
the player who played in Brisbane.
You're taking him over
Bess?
over Bess or did you play with Archie? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll probably take... Hold on. Nah, fuck. 5 aside. How I said Loza as a goalkeeper. Mathieu Delpierre, easy. Brett Holman, I'll definitely put him there.
Yeah.
That's
2 more.
I need 2 more. I need...
Fuck, that's a very interesting one. Brett Holman before anyone else. Well, except Delpierre, who's obviously the best player to ever play in the league, I reckon.
Yeah,
but that's crazy.
And in Brisbane,
crazy to
I
me.
would put seriously.
He's a great player, but that's just interesting.
Yeah, no, he was a good player, man. In Brisbane, to be honest, the thing is, like in Brisbane, we actually had a really good team. It's just we had injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries. But the player in Brisbane, Eric Bothiak, I would probably add Eric.
He was crazy. Do you remember him?
Nah, French, but he was really good. Played in France.
He had one season where he was...
Nah, but he was good.
This list is not correct, man.
He wants the victory players.
Nah, he won the victory players. Yeah, but...
How do you not have Arch in there?
Well, Arch... Like when I came,
He was at the end of his career.
He was like more like
Maybe.
his first year was really good, but he was like more like on the bench, everything to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but I'm talking about. Are you talking about the time that you saw them? I guess.
Yeah,
the time he played
that's
with
what
them.
we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah, sorry.
In
Yeah,
goals.
okay.
That's why I'm sure.
Sorry.
Loza, Lawrence, like as a goalkeeper.
Okay. Yes. Great keeper.
I will Mathieu Delpierre easily. I would add Brett, Eric, and I will say. A good question, to be honest. I don't know. Fucking hell.
Bess? No Bess.
You can't keep pushing him in there, bro. It's his list.
Oh no, I'm just asking because he's struggling.
No. But I want to try to have it correct like that. So I'm trying to have it correct.
This is how competitive he is. He's genuinely thinking about if he has to play 5-a-side this
I'm
weekend.
actually like,
we're gonna
I
win.
have to put I'll put myself there.
Okay. This is the team. Lawrence Thomas,
I'll put myself in that
Delpierre,
team. Myself,
Brett Holman.
Eric, and myself.
Pretty good team, man.
That's a fucking really good team, man.
That's a good
5-a-side.
Nah,
That's a
bro,
fucking
mine's
top team,
beating
man.
Yours.
What's yours? What's your 5-a-side team have you played with, and would they beat Fahid's?
But he's got to have to put me in his team.
A-League players.
Actually, you know
No,
what?
hold on. You say A-League or no?
Yeah,
Players we
A-League,
played with.
because if he could choose Tunisia, France, he's got internationals all over the court.
No, I know. But I'm yeah, okay.
It's hard A-League because there's a lot of players who played everything even years ago. So it's really hard
feel
to
like I
pick.
could name yours.
You're gonna forget players
Tell
like
me mine.
I feel like I could name yours.
Go.
Okay, players that you played with.
Yep.
Okay, you would.
put Archie because he's already put Archie
Yeah,
there.
you'd have Arch for sure. You'd have Archie.
Yeah.
I would. Is he 40 when he's playing in this 5-a-side?
Nah, he's-
and his knees.
Nah,
he can't even walk.
he's
you take
how he
his
was
pick.
when you were playing.
Yeah, I reckon
Nah,
he's in there.
it's not Spanish 5th Division Archie. No, it's okay. So Archie,
Yeah. Loz.
Lawrence Thomas,
Delpierre.
and then in the midfield, you love Carl Valeri, but I don't know if you would have Carl Valeri
Over
over.
5-a-side. That's a different game.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know if you'd have Carl Valeri over like
My 5-a-side is my team is amazing. You have you have Mathieu at the back, Loza, and then you've got technical players.
Wasn't
And
Holman
quick.
like 38 when you were there as well?
Brett is younger than me, bro.
Remember that
Really?
goal he scored at the World Cup?
Brett is younger than me, bro. Brett is fucking.
I know. I know.
And
Yeah.
seriously, like a top player,
I know.
amazing person,
Yeah.
but like really good player. As a 10, everything, man. Work ethic, technically, man. He played in England. He's actually one of the player who did really well overseas, but people don't think about him.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
played in Holland.
Yeah, he played good in
Alkmaar,
Netherlands. Yeah.
champion in Holland, played in England. Like he's done really well
Quite a
overseas.
few of the you mentioned Harry Kewell in that before. Our younger generations don't realize how amazing that those Aussies did.
Yeah,
even
some
Popper,
but
there's,
those
players that you don't even think
But
about.
the players that generation, like all of them obviously played. That's what I say. All of them played in Europe in good leagues.
Yep.
The starting 11 players.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what makes a big difference when people want to compare. It's they play at the highest level in good teams, but starting 11. You take Bresciano, who's a top player. Timmy, obviously. You take like Evan Kev, like even if you like, those players played,
exactly.
played at a good level. They played like you take Popper, and
I could name them all.
Vince Grella, like
Vinny
Grella,
Grella,
everything.
Schwarzer.
Like
Vinny
there's a
Grella.
lot of players who actually played at the highest level.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference between
Lucas Neal.
the last 10 or 15, whatever, 10 years. Like, you look at players that mainly play in Asia, Middle East, like Australia. So it's very different.
That there was one era in the Socceroos where I want to say 7 or 8 of the starters were Premier League starters. Brett Emerton, Tim Cahill, Mark Schwarzer, Harry Kewell, Viduka. And then you had the Serie A starters like Vincenzo Grella, Bresciano, and even the players that weren't like Scott Chipperfield, player. You remember him?
Yeah.
Who else was there? There was tons. Up front, we had artillery man. Archie was a backup.
Did you say Craig Moore?
Craig Moore, Lucas Neal, Zelko.
Lubo. Shout out Lubo.
No, but that's why. There's a lot of players who
So
actually
Fahid,
played.
last question. And hopefully, just say it even if we don't know it. Who is the best player you've ever played with? You just think hands down.
To be honest, like Yaro Plazil was different things because Plazil was amazing. Like I think he played more than 100 games with the Czech Republic. Both feet. Top player. There's one player in Tunisia. His name was Shikawi. In terms of talent, he's probably the best player I have ever seen. But he never made, always injured. Always injured. But if people go online and look at him on YouTube, it is insane what he could do with the ball, everything. In terms of talent, he played in Tunisia, went to Switzerland.
And every time...
but people wouldn't know him except Tunisian people. Or actually in Switzerland, he's done really well. But if you go on YouTube and you watch online, Shikawi is it's insane what he could do with the ball. He was amazing. There's a player like Brazilian player, Jussier.
Jussier played at Bordeaux,
in terms of talent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would say he had a great career, but never. Those kind of players should have played at the top level because with everything they had. But it's just injuries, consistency, whatever.
Who else was at Bordeaux? Sane, the centre back.
Who? Yeah, Lamine, yeah.
He was a big boy. Who else was there?
We had a couple of players playing for the French national team.
Yeah.
Brazilian Fernando was good.
Tremoulinet.
Tresh was the best left back I probably played with. Yeah,
He was he's the best left back you played with.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, he played like he had an amazing career, but probably is the best left back. Yeah, he's
Why are North Africans so good at dribbling?
Because they grew. You know what? When you go there now, for example, after school, they're all on the street barefoot, playing with a ball, and like on the street with rocks, everything. So that's how they play football. That's how they play. Like when I was going on holiday, when I was going to Tunisia and spend a month or 2 months holidays there when I was young. So you go there and you see like all the neighborhood or kids, everything. That's how they play. And you come from France, you have like shoes, nice everything, boots, nice shoes and all that stuff. And then you say, fuck it, man, let's take them off. And you start playing barefoot. But technically, that's how people grow up, like, you know. So
I think some of the best dribblers in Premier League history.
look,
Riyad, Adel Tarabt,
Hatem Ben Arfa is
Ben Arfa. Hey.
Hatem is one of the craziest players I've seen on the pitch. And what he did when we played against Marseille, we were talking before the game, chilling, and I was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, you should be within the French national team, like starting 11 player." And he takes things like, yeah, man. That
Fahid,
game
I have a
that we
story.
lost 5-1, he did everything possible on the soccer pitch, and I was like, "Fuck me, man, that's crazy." And he should be at he should have played at.
I have a story about Hatem Ben Arfa, right? And maybe you can talk about maybe he didn't take it as seriously. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm in Las Vegas with my brother, and we're in the pool. We're hitting the ball to each other, and I go, fuck. I go, that guy over there looks like Hatem Ben Arfa. And we're like, nah, surely. What the fuck would he be doing here? Anyway, spend the rest of the day, whatever. I'm at McDonald's at midnight in Las Vegas. I'm lining up, and I'm just whatever. I look in front of me, and he's standing right there, about to order McDonald's with two big bodyguards. And I was shitting myself because these were big boys with him, like probably thinking, you know. And I tapped him. I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "Can I please get a photo?" Took a photo with me. And then I go, wow, I've just met Hatem Ben Arfa in a McDonald's in Las Vegas at midnight. Then I'm going back to my hotel. He thinks I'm following him, but he doesn't realize that we're staying at the same hotel. And I was wigging out, man. I was like, I've just seen one of the best Premier League players at that time. Do you think maybe that's why?
Nah, to be honest, he's just...
Like, was his diet or something like that? Like,
it's just the way he was taking... It wasn't serious. Like, I mean, not serious. It's just the way he was taking football wasn't the same. That's the way he took it. Like, you know, in his life, everything. He's such a nice person.
Yeah.
Like he's actually a really, really nice person. But it's just like, you know, didn't care.
yeah.
That's the best way to say it, because in terms of talent, man, like, I put him in... He should have maybe not Messi, but you know, when you talk to everyone who played with him, they will put him on that level. They will say that's what he was capable of.
Yeah.
But you look at goals he scored and things, it's just like, he played 1 game, 2 games, like crazy games. Then he didn't play. Then he comes back.
No consistency.
If you had that consistency, man, that is insane. That is insane. But in terms of talent, man, it's you know, he played with. Well, actually, my first game against France, so he played, and Benzema was there, Jeremy Menez, and Nasri. 4 of them came from the same generation, and the most talented one. So they're all I think they were all playing. The most talented one, the best one in terms of talent, was Hatem, but the most successful by far, and like actually the best one, is Benzema.
Yeah.
But if you talk to everyone in terms of talent, Hatem will be the first one coming.
Did you say Simeon Nasri in that?
Yeah.
What's his background?
Algerian.
Algerian.
Yeah, but he played for France.
He'd be close to that level. Not Hatem maybe, but of.
Oh, when he was at
talent.
Man City, bro.
Yeah, but not. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think Hatem was more of a magician.
Yeah. The one, Nasri was like, especially when he was at Arsenal, that was probably one of the best midfield in the world back then.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I think his attitude, everything, like, you know, in France, and never really liked him that much. Like, you know, in terms of...
Yeah, there was something, wasn't there?
Something recently.
Very open. Like, I mean, like, when he had something to say, it was just like no filter, arguing, everything. But when he was in Arsenal, it was just crazy. Man City is one of his first 2 years, whatever. He had an amazing career. People just, you know, they think, because he ended up his career like in a certain way, but when he was at the peak, he was top. Yeah.
Were you always thinking, I'm going to represent Tunisia? Did you play any France youth level?
Nah, because to be honest, Tunisia called me when I was in 2nd division,
Okay.
and I actually refused because I was about to get transferred. So I refused the African Cup in January, thinking I was gonna get transferred to either Marseille or Saint-Etienne.
Oh, wow.
And then I refused, but I ended up staying in my club. So I was like, didn't and
take it anyway. Yeah.
So the coach came, wanted me to go, and I was like, nah, look, I can't. I'm actually gonna go somewhere, and I ended up staying. And then I got transferred during summer, and that's how I picked. But because I think the French national team was probably anyway too high at that point. But then I was like, when I was in Valenciennes, that was the only time where maybe, because the French national team, that was before the World Cup, they were trying 2008, they had like a shit Euro. Oh. They were trying a lot of players, and I was doing really well at Valenciennes. So maybe if I was at that point eligible, maybe I would have got a cap.
But the quality of the individuals in French
but between 2007 and 2008 and 2010, that it was like a lot of players were getting a chance, and I was doing so well. So maybe, and I would have. But
I mean, you ended up playing at one of the, I want to say.
But that's why I'm saying those 2 years when I was actually doing really well, and they didn't have like so many wingers and everything. So players getting called, getting one chance, like whatever.
Yeah, one cap or whatever.
They went, for example, some of them went better. But obviously I was playing for Tunisia. But then after 2010, after the World Cup and the fiasco there, but the generation of like the French players, man, are just amazing. When you look at some of the players and the quality is just insane.
There was that the 2008? Was that the Henri handball against? Was that the Henri handball against Ireland or something?
To qualify for the 2010, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
Got to
that.
do what you can.
That was before that.
It was before?
I think that was... Oh,
was
2011? No, because Henri stopped. No, that was before. I'm wondering if it's not when Zidane got back before he... I actually have a doubt. I would say it's either before 2006 or after when they qualified for 2010. That's probably 2010, the qualification.
I'm about to piss myself, and I have been for the past hour. So I think we're at nearly 2 hours.
Damn.
Is there anything else you wanted to?
Oh, bro, we've got to have him back
touch
on.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
There's too much.
Because we could probably just have a chat and have a laugh.
Yeah.
For also 4 hours.
Yeah.
But there was some interesting stuff that I'd probably never even asked you. I didn't know. So. Yeah.
Fahid, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Pleasure.
Honestly, as a fan, used to cheer you on in the stands. To have you talking here, hear your insight and stuff, it's we really appreciate it. So thank you, and hopefully
thanks, man.
We have you back on soon. Guys,
I think it's to talk about A-League.
Yeah, we didn't even
I know.
Yeah.
I should have thought about my starting 11, starting 5.
He's going to go back home and ring and go, wait, actually.
No. There's 3 players that I wouldn't move. I wouldn't move myself, so that's 4. Then it's Eric Bothiak. But as a quality players, knowing him, I have to put, he was better than players.
But is it because is he your mate or something? Like, is he going to message you after, say, I saw the pod?
Nah,
to be honest,
no. He's because I'm training with him. The guy was coming from France, played like at the top level in France at Lille, everything, Nice. And in terms of quality, me training, he was better than players like we played with. In terms of proper quality, he was on the seriously like a top 1. And that's why when I say, even if I had to pick a starting 11, people will say, if I had to pick a starting 11, people will say, I don't even know if I would put Bess there, for example, as a 9. People will say, man, crazy. Okay, I played with Massimo Maccaroni, who was like 39 years old or 38 when he came here. But when the footballer, for me, the guy played for the Italian national team, everything. I'm not talking about just like because he played for the national team and he played I don't know how many games in Italy. It's just like the way he was playing football, I was like different. Like when I say Brett Holman, Brett is a really, really good player. So people will say, but he had less success than people will say, Finkler, Guy. People will look at Guy and say, but me training with him and understanding, for example, what it takes for some players to succeed in Europe, I put Brett, man, like really.
But the reason I say Arch is because anytime anyone asks me who's the best player I played with, I always say him because of how shocked I was of like how good he was in training.
Yeah,
obviously, in games, you didn't he didn't play too much when you were there. He came off the bench,
for me,
whatever.
it's like, but that's where Arch was a really good player, and nothing about that. It's more about like looking at a certain way, because obviously he was getting older when he played everything. But I can give you players like at training that were also doing, not Archie obviously because he was performing on the pitch, but some of the players that were like training players. So I look at the whole thing like, some of them training really well, and some of them like, some players they barely train. Like,
I said last week, you probably don't watch our podcast, but I said Danny Georgievski, what he was like in training last week.
Yeah, but some of the players, like, they just some of the players, just like the way they train, it's sometimes they just go through the thing and you don't see them like performing, or it's very simple. But then when it comes game time, then it's different level. So that's the way. Like Archie obviously was really good at training when he played. Like the first year, and look, I always tell people, it was him and Costa playing on the right side, or Archie. Yeah. Archie deserved to play more for me. Like and he scored a lot of goals, everything. And Archie was a better player. So then after it's a coach's decision, he played Costa younger and everything. But if you told me did Archie deserve to play that year as a starting 11? Yeah, 100%. I would have played him probably next to Bess. Anyway.
Isn't that crazy? How old was he at that time? He would have been 38 or something?
Nah, 36, I think.
Maybe a bit longer.
He was
36.
Younger. He was younger.
And he scored, we have to get the stats up, but I reckon it would have been 10 goals off the bench or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he scored, but he
he
started a couple of games, everything, but he scored a lot of goals. The first year, the impact he had for us was amazing. But that's why I look at it like in a different way, because if I say, like, left back, I would put Danny there.
What about his behaviour at training?
Yeah, but that's...
I told you, we have to do...
Yeah, we've got to get him or Danny here.
Danny one day, and look, I'm seriously at training. I was like training, doing my thing. I was working my way at training, everything. So, like he said, me at training, unless you start doing like 4v4, 5v5, everything, but then everything was like, I know I work, but people wouldn't tell you like, oh, fuck, it's crazy. Like, no, I was doing my thing. Because for me, I was like, I know during game what I can do. And Danny, one day we were arguing at training. And I said, Danny, fucking work hard, everything, blah, blah. He said, man, look at you. He said, bro, you're telling me that. I said, Danny, you want to compare yourself to my... I said, Danny, well, we'll see tomorrow who's going to be better than the others. And like every time was just argument with Danny.
What about, do you remember when we were playing a game in training? And I can't remember what was happening, but our team was getting smashed. And I turned around to you and Danny. I was like, fucking run back, you lazy cunts. Oh. Do you remember?
I was smashing Danny?
No, remember I said it to you guys. And you were like, you ran straight at me like about 50 meters. Like, don't fucking talk to me like that. You have some respect.
But with Danny, bro, I actually look, obviously we're close friends. And he was playing it behind me. And I loved playing with him. Because I was to Danny, one of the things on the pitch. And he was like, I was like, every time you get the ball, just pass me the ball. I was like, seriously, I was the best thing with him because
it was a good combination.
That was amazing, man. Because I swear to God, when I was playing on the left, Danny was there. I was like, Danny, every time I asked him for the ball, he was just playing with me. But he obviously it worked, and I was like, look, bro, hey, don't think about it. Just give me the ball. If I'm in 1v1, just give me the ball every time. Don't even think going somewhere, whatever. But he was good, to be honest. Like the first year, he was really good. He was quality, man.
Oh,
he was someone like, at training, people say, yeah, look, but at training, it wasn't the hardest, or, he was doing his thing. But that game, I knew, man, sometimes he's going to have a bad game, whatever. But I knew, man, he was a quality player.
He didn't have many bad games, though.
No, bro, he was good, man.
In the grand final, he was
man
of the match, wasn't he?
The year against
that was
Sydney. But no, he was good, man, to be honest. Like, that's why.
He was a warrior. You knew that
he was good.
He'd fight.
But look, you look at even after, because Jace, first year he played not a lot, but then after he started playing everything. Like, I need to have a starting 11 A-League.
Starting 11 of the A-League. You know what we need to do? We need to do an ep where I shut up.
I'll have people will be surprised.
With what?
With my starting 11 in A-League.
Well, he just said he wouldn't even have Bess in his starting 11.
Is that A-League or all?
A-League.
A-League.
I wouldn't have one player here, like, no disrespect. If I played, if I put players I played with, I wouldn't have one player in A-League.
Yeah, of course.
That's normal.
Of course.
What I would be interested in is a starting 5 for A-League just in general?
In general.
Just from like all time, from
But
what you've seen, you've played with, haven't played with, just 5.
5. Well, I put myself there, definitely. I put Matthew and myself there straight away.
Yep.
I will put...
Put Matthew over Kevin?
Who?
Must
No,
be
but
an
I
interesting one,
played
yeah.
with...
LPL's crazy,
I haven't seen Kevin play.
Oh, you're talking about players
I
you've-
played...
yeah.
Look,
Okay.
because, for example, when I first came, a lot of people were talking about Thomas Broch. A lot of people
Yeah.
were talking about him as a... And obviously, he was a quality player. But when I came,
Yeah.
his peak was before.
Yes.
So,
With age.
because...
So I'm saying whoever you've seen.
So people
whoever
I
you've
saw,
seen.
for example, I really liked Castro.
Great
really
player.
enjoyed Castro. Really enjoyed Castro.
He was good, eh?
I really, a lot of players, to be honest. Like, it's hard because I'm gonna say one name here.
And
then you're going to forget.
But nah, because look, for example, I really liked Karuska when he played in
Yeah,
Adelaide.
yeah.
My first or 2 seasons, he's definitely one of the best players. But then people will say, oh, yeah, there's better players. But my first or second season, he was definitely one of the best players.
Yeah.
I will have, for me, one of the best, like obviously Castro is there.
Would you put Ninkovic in?
Ninko's done well, obviously, like in A-League.
He's the hardest player I ever marked, I reckon.
He was just
Ninko was
IQ
obviously,
above. Like,
Ninko was obviously like a good, but then you have like, to be honest, there's a lot of players, man. There's a lot of players. Look, Aaron Moy, when he was at City, last year he did
Forget
really
about
well.
him, yeah.
But the last year, because before that, to be honest, like, I
Yeah,
can't
it's
say
true.
like, so
When he was at City.
the year before he left,
Yeah.
yeah, he did really well.
Is there any current players that you would put in that league?
Current players,
Take out the players that is your players because
No.
it makes it unfair.
they're for me is the best players. So not because I brought them. No. I'm being objective.
it's fair.
Not because I brought them,
Yeah.
but it's you tell me who's best. Okay, best strikers. You can argue today. You can have Bruno there. Valère Jamin is class. The guy played for Monaco, Marseille, and everything. So he's doing amazingly well. Tall guy, arguably for me, is the best player in the league today.
He's good.
And when you look at his career as well, everything. So, I would say best centre backs, Marcelo and Da Silva. Who else?
That's true.
No,
It's true.
I'm not saying because it's me or because I brought them, but objectively,
Yeah, they are.
yeah, they are. So, I would look. You look at Marcelo today. People look at him like the way, or even Damian Da Silva. They compare with Matthew.
Quality, man.
They compare, like, when they look at them, they said, oh, we haven't seen centre backs as good as them since Mathieu Delpierre. So obviously, like, it means something. The tall guy could play like the guys played for Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Dortmund when he was young, everything. How many players played at that level? You look at Valère, the career he's got. So he was a captain of Monaco with Mbappe, Bernardo Silva. Like, you look at the players he's played with, that is outrageous.
Playing with
And he
him
was
on
a
FIFA.
captain of the semi-final of Champions League, like, of that team. Then he played for Marseille, Montpellier, Nice. How many players in the league played at that level? Even currently or the last 15 years. So
you're looking after Valerie, are you?
but yeah.
Oh, we could do 4 hours. Because then I could ask, is MacArthur good for him? Like,
Yeah, it's good. He loves it.
Okay.
Because, to be honest, it's a good club. The way people look at it and every time. So there's clubs where for me, young players can sign. You need to play, but MacArthur is a good club. Top people at the club, really good people within the club. Staff is top. Like, Mile Stadrowski is one of the nicest person.
Oh, is Miles Stejovski
Yeah,
there?
so the assistant coach, Christophe Gamel, is French. They've got Matt Smith as well. So they've got good coaches. They try to have like some really good players, like obviously Valère, Davila, who is one of the best players in the
He was
league
at
as well,
Chelsea.
to be honest. So, and then you've got some really young, talented player.
Yeah.
Like, take Rafael Borges, Bernardo Oliveira, and others. So you try to have a mix, and the club is trying to develop to get better. So I would say, yes, it is a good club. And someone like Valère, what does he have to prove?
Nothing, yeah.
So when people say, man, okay, even if he plays for one of the biggest clubs here, What's it gonna change for him in his life? Nothing. So he would like for him, it suits him perfectly because the club, first of all, they really wanted him, and what they're doing today for him and what he gives them back, it's perfect. Like it works. So he's happy. The club is happy. It's not gonna change anything if you play for like a bigger club. So
I don't even mean bigger. I mean just more like because someone like him, you know, because the money in Asia's big. Like,
but they're not chasing. Look, it's very simple for players to come to A League. It's not about money.
Yeah.
So people
Lifestyle.
say it's not about, it's lifestyle, something new.
Yeah.
To learn a language.
Yep.
New experience. It's safe.
Yep.
You have to have something totally different.
Yep.
So it's people can say there's a lot of money sometimes in certain club. It's a lot here, but it's nothing compared to the money you can make, even in Europe.
Which big players have the A-League missed out on because of just deals not working out?
Good question, Rash.
I'll tell you one name. That's actually funny. I'll tell you the story. You're gonna laugh. Didier Drogba. Let me, bro. Now you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at that story. You're gonna laugh at the story.
My favorite player all time.
So you're gonna laugh to that story. So I think Didier was. I'm quite sure he was in China, and that was a time where issues there, whatever. So he was gonna go back to either Europe or whatever, and he was with my agent. And after my first year, so I think that right at that time, we had an award night, whatever for school, something German, and so I was there to give some reward or whatever, an award or something. And so my agent called me, everything. He said, "Oh, how much can they pay there? Like, you know, DJ, can you ask if they would be interested or whatever?" And my question. I sat down next to the chairman. I said, "Chairman, would you sign Drogba?" Like, not knowing, like, you know, whatever. And he was like, and seriously, the answer from someone next to him was like, "Is he still good?"
Yes.
But the thing is, like, it came from someone next to him. And I actually was like, is he joking? Or like, you know, because like, I was like, and my English wasn't like, you know, it took me maybe a year. And I was like, I don't, and like, and I was like, okay, and how much? And like it was like, okay, I was like, oh, they're quite serious, like, or whatever, people next to him, or it wasn't like just a German. And I was like, okay, so it never went like we didn't talk about it, but I was like, that point actually he was available to, because he was thinking like, you know, to do, I think it was before I went to him and to America as well. I can't remember what he did. Anyway, so that was something like, and players, there's always players, to be honest, like, you know, names coming, like at one point they can come. Money is important, obviously, but I'm against what the league did a couple of years ago, when you want to bring one player and you want to spend so much money on just one player.
A Marquee.
I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
I think it's a stupid way to do it, because you're going to spend a lot of money for, okay, someone who's going to come on retirement, because when they come at like certain age, even if they're still going to be good, they're not going to be the same players, and you're going to you're going to spend a lot of money for 10 months, 8 months, and you're not going to get anything back.
Well, more often than not, they go bad. So Sturridge, bad. Nani, bad. KCK Honda, pretty bad. Who else was there?
But because, you know, and I always say one thing. When Nani came here, people ask me, and I was like, I wouldn't sign him, not because the guy is a legend.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Why? He was an amazing player. But it's just when you look at you need to know the league. It's not the best league, but it is a hard league because you need to run. And also people need to understand, people who never played football don't understand that. You don't play with the same players. So when you play in A-League, you're going to play with players. Unfortunately, he's not going to have the same quality as the players you played with in Europe. So especially when you play like Nani for best clubs in the world. So it's not the same thing. When you make a run, the guy there in England or whatever, he finds you, he saw you making the run and he plays with you. Here you make a run, the guy is like playing back with the goalkeeper sometimes or whatever. Or the opposite, like you have the ball,
rash.
you expect the guy to make a run, so you play it and he doesn't make a run. So, I mean, that makes it hard. It is a league where you play during summer.
Yep.
So physically you need to be really fit. And he was someone like professionalism was amazing, like his skin fold and everything. Apparently that was crazy. But it is just something when you need to adapt, the travel. Also, you know, you start going, you fly to Perth and this and that. So it's very different. That's why I'm not for that kind of stuff. I'm for, if you have 10 million, whatever to spend, give it to club, spend in academies, spend in coaches, spending in, increase the salary cap. So instead of bringing players sometimes, like, you know, instead of whatever, spend 200-300, all of a sudden you might be able to spend 500 or 600 for some certain players within the salary cap, which straight away, it increases the level. And players who are playing with those players would improve and everything. So I will do it that way. If one day you're lucky enough to bring, it's impossible, a 30 years old at the top level will not come to Australia. It is just the way it is, especially now when you look at the MLS. What they're doing is actually, that's what they're doing. They're signing young players. They sell them. They go to Europe, they sign 26, 27 years old, but because they can afford to give 3 million to a player.
Yeah, of course.
And net or US dollar, everything, we don't have that. So we need to do things like to have a proper plan. What pisses me off or upsets me is like we do not have a plan. And the league is probably in the worst situation it's been. It's sad because you look at clubs, some of the clubs don't have owners, don't have money.
Well, Newcastle might fold. Did you hear?
Yeah.
I saw that.
So you have clubs. Do you talk about a second division, no relegation, no promotion? You have no idea what's going on there. It's crazy.
When
That
you
makes
say
no
the
sense.
league is in the worst position it's ever been, do you mean financially?
Financially, in terms of quality and everything, yeah. Because people always
Fans.
say, because what people say, it's like, oh yeah, it's a development league. I don't mind young players to play, and that's what my business is. I'm focusing on young players.
Yeah.
So I want them to play, but if they deserve it. It's good if they deserve it. If they don't deserve a chance to play just because you play them because you have to, makes no sense. So if you don't play, if you play them because they're really good, amazing.
Yeah.
But the problem is today we play, a lot of clubs pay young players because they don't want to spend money or they don't have money. Yeah. And the quality is not great.
Yeah, there was some stat, remember it was around COVID times coming out that the A-League played the most young players.
Yeah, but
in
it's
a
not a
season
good
or
stat.
something like that.
But it is if they deserve it. How many? Look, you know, one of the things I always tell people: take the teams today, and I don't want to sound like, you know, fucking he's gonna say it's better before, was better. I don't care about that. But take clubs like Brisbane or Central, and you compare with other teams a couple of years ago, and look and try to think about how many players will play in that team. And if you think that way, you start looking, okay, there's a couple of clubs still doing well. Huh? And look, Melbourne City, they're still having, like, you know, really good players, try to do the right thing. Couple of clubs, you know, victories this year, they have good players. Like, you know, if you look at the ways they do things. But unfortunately, some of the clubs are not bringing anything to the league. And you need the big ones, but you need the small one. Look, Central Coast is a great example because obviously they've been very successful the last 2 or 3 years. They've been doing it really well without good money. But some of the clubs have been, for me, useless. And they don't bring anything to the league. They always say, oh, we don't spend money and this, they don't have nothing. But it doesn't help. People don't want to watch that. So
You hear that in the comments? I'm getting grilled. Well, we're getting grilled for that A-League video.
Which one?
The one where we said some of the teams like, well,
Oh, that, yeah.
You know?
yeah.
about what? No, but it's sad because obviously for the fans, people are, okay, what do they want to see? They want to watch football. But they also, it's not just winning. It's about going and enjoying what you
experience,
enjoying it. Sometimes you go to certain game and it's like I'm not saying you get bored, but yes, it is. There's no atmosphere anymore. Like except a couple of games, like you go to certain stadium and it's empty. So it's instead of trying to have a plan, okay, we're gonna start from scratches and try to have a proper plan. Can someone explain to me what's going on with the second division? No one knows anything about that. What's the point? I always say, what's the point? The second division is a great idea.
yeah,
If you have relegation and promotion, because it will force clubs in in A League, if the value of a club is 15 millions or 20 millions, if you go to second division, it doesn't have the same value. It goes to 2 million or 3 million, whatever. So owners would be afraid of it. Now you start spending money to bring better players. You start making proper decision. If you have to sack a coach because he's not doing well, you have to sack him, and that kind of stuff. And then obviously it increases the level. You have to develop young players. You have to have. You must have better academies.
Squad depth,
That's the kind
everything.
of stuff you need to have. And then all of a sudden you play for something. Trust me, if you have a game end of the season, for example, I don't know. Imagine South Melbourne in second division trying to get promoted and Melbourne Victory trying to remain, and you have a playoff game. What do you think the stadium is going to be packed? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you have even any club, you have Adelaide against Marquee, for example, promotion relegation, a playoff game.
We said this we said exactly what you're saying 2 episodes ago or whatever, that those moments are going to bring life back to the game.
So, for example, if you have the last game of the season, you have Central Coast against Newcastle, and the loser is getting relegated.
Yeah,
that game is packed.
Yeah.
Or if you have like Western Sydney FC, one of the teams is going to get relegated.
Imagine that.
Imagine that kind of. So, it's not about just bringing teams in second division. It's to have that thing where players want to play for, fans want to see.
Yep.
If you have a second division, I don't know, man, 2 teams, and that the winner gets promoted in A-League, imagine how crazy it is, the fans and everything. So it's not just people say, oh, second division, it's going to be fucking rubbish, man. It's NPL teams playing each other for nothing. What's the point? People say, oh, it's going to be a... Yeah.
It's even worse than
it's going to be...
normal
and you know what pisses me off is like, and people it's going to be great, second division. Okay, who's going to spend money? You're going to tell me tomorrow, someone who works at the bank, or look, you work at the school. You're going to have a teacher playing in NPL. You do have teachers playing in NPL.
Yeah,
Someone is going to make decent money, whatever, 80,000 per year. You're going to tell him, man, you got to quit your job to play in B League, whatever they're going to call it, for what kind of money? Because you're not going to be able to pay that kind of money.
So your main issue is you think that the B League teams just don't have enough money.
It's not about money. So who's going to play in that league? So is that going to be professional?
I think they're trying. Are they?
Okay, so if it's professional, it means you can't work.
Yeah.
That's your job. Yeah. So you need to be able to pay someone to just do that.
What they're earning.
To live. Yeah.
To live.
Yeah.
So if you're a teacher
yeah,
and you're 26 years old and you want to play in B League, you have to quit your job to play in B League. Yeah. A club in B League will not be able to pay you that. So what they want to do now is to have younger players. That's what they want to say. They've been talking, oh, it's going to be a development league or whatever. Do you think I'm fucking interested to watch fucking 16 years old playing if they're not good enough in B League? Seriously? I'm not disrespect to anyone. If they're great, great. But if they're great, they will be in A-League. And people say, oh man, it's going to be crazy. Man, I've been to some NPL clubs or whatever. They talk about like all those clubs, big clubs. When they play against each other, they've got 500 people. What's going to change in B League? With no relegation.
Because it's not
promotion.
There's not necessarily relegation promotion. Is that correct? Until
So what's gonna change? Yeah. So now instead of being able to have experienced players, NPL, you take South, I don't know, Avondale or whatever. If those teams are part of it, you have good players or some experienced players. Sometimes some of them don't even want to play in A League because they have a good situation. They make a bit of money, whatever.
Yeah.
Now if you don't have them, if you can't have them in B League, who are you going to play?
Yeah, kids.
Who's going to play in that B League? So now, okay, if you do have them, it means you're going to have the same. It's an NPL league with 3 teams from Victoria or 5 teams or whatever, 3 teams from New South Wales. And so what? Who's going to watch it? People are going to pay on TV to get on to watch that?
Do you think... So...
If you have relegation, if you have promotion and relegation, that will be the best thing that you can have in this country. In terms of football,
is it going to be free to air?
Well,
really?
so you're saying that promotion and relegation will be the best thing to happen for football in this country.
100%.
But then, are you also saying that no one's going to watch the B League?
If there is no promotion and relegation?
Oh, you're saying if there isn't. Okay, yes, okay.
If there is no promotion and relegation, what is the point?
Oh, so You're just talking about them being a second division that's professional without relegation and
Because
promotion.
that's
Isn't that just...
That's what they want to do.
I thought it was always promotion and relegation.
No.
So they want to start a league
With nothing.
with nothing but make it professional,
Yep.
but with no relegation or promotion.
What? Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. Because I thought you were saying it's going to be good, but then I'm saying...
No.
Okay, I understand.
If they had promotion and relegation between the B League and A League,
I understand now.
that would be perfect because it will force clubs in A League to get better. First of all, now you've got clubs that start the season 5 losses, 2 draws, 1 new... we'll focus on next year. Let the player go. We'll save some money. Just play young players.
He said they were planning trips already. Holidays. The players were planning holidays.
So you'll have that with nothing. Players wouldn't care, whatever. Now, if you do have relegation, take last year, a club like Melbourne Victory were second last. Do you think a club like Melbourne Victory last year, if in January you're second last, do you think the club go outside to sign new players, to get rid of players and everything, and to whatever to make decision? Because if you get relegated, the value of your club, which is whatever how many millions, goes down. Share it's nothing.
People lose jobs.
People lose job. The crowd will never come back or whatever. So all of a sudden, you have to invest to try to get better. When you sign players, you need to sign better players. Clubs, obviously, look, a club like Central Coast, they've been doing amazingly well. They work on, obviously, what Nick Montgomery started. This coach is doing everything, keeps working on it. They're working on the recruitment, young players, development, everything. It's working. But you also have other clubs, big club or whatever, if they don't do the right thing, they can get relegated. That's crazy. And also the club in second division would want to get promoted. So they will go out there to try to sign players from A-League also.
Yeah.
Because you know what? They wouldn't be afraid to spend money.
Yep.
If your value of your club now is 3 millions, you go to A-League, it's 20 millions.
Yep.
It changes everything.
Yeah, I wonder if that capitalistically now makes money start to be spent more.
But
I wonder if people invest more money now.
In what?
Because it's so more competitive and there's so much more at stake.
But you will have to.
Well, then they pay...
But
the money goes
but at
up,
one point
right?
you will also have to get rid of the salary cap. If
Yeah,
you do that,
yeah,
you
exactly.
would have to get rid of salary cap. So, for me, if you will do that, the football will get much better. You will never be Europe and the same level, but the level will get much better, more competitive. Players also playing with pressure, getting experience, and then you're ready to play a certain level.
Well, I was.
Sorry, bro.
No, go.
Get rid of the salary cap. Get rid of the salary cap and open it up to a free market.
Yeah.
I think I've got 2 points here, and I genuinely think I'm going to split this podcast in 2, by the way. Part 1 and part 2.
Okay.
But because Nor's got people coming in at 5:30, but I've got a few more. Yeah, I got a few more questions. I think a lot of clubs are stressing that if they go down, they're going to die. If they go down,
they would.
They're going to die.
Some of them would.
Yeah.
Some of them would.
But I guess as fans, like, I only would care if it's my team. If it's not, I love it because it's just adding more. Like, you're going to die on that field to stay in the A-League. In that last game of the season, when everything's on the line, you're not just going to play for a draw so you can get on a plane and fuck off to Bali. Mm-hmm. You're going to play with every single ounce.
Bro, when we were going through our relegation battle in Incheon, in Korea, the president, as it was getting closer to the end of the season, would come in and would tell us that the bonuses were going up. And each time it was like more and more and more. And by the end, he was like, okay, and these bonuses were honestly probably more money than I saved in my whole A-League career.
Are you serious?
No joke. And it got to the point where he was like, okay, if you win the last 5 games, these are the bonuses for each of the 5 games, but you have to stay up to get the bonuses of all those 5 games. So it was like bonus for win, lose, draw.
Yeah, but that's the kind of
depending
thing.
on what, but you had to stay up to get those bonuses. So it was like by the last game of the season, I'm not going to say the sum of money, but it was like there's a whole lot of money at stake here.
But look, what do people want to see? Changes. And at one point, if you want to make it more interesting, you'll have the same club, same players rotating. One players are playing for 6-7 clubs here in A-League.
I hate that.
By 25 years old, they played like in 7 clubs.
I hate that.
That makes no sense. But if you can allow clubs now to get promoted and everything, but then I mean, after you open everything, because it just makes it more interesting. People want to watch. Start a new season. You have two new teams, for example. 2 teams got relegated, maybe, but 2 new teams, maybe. And you have that kind of stuff, new players coming in. It brings more money. It brings like the TV will pay to see something, like broadcaster, whatever, will pay more money to watch that. If you, trust me, if you live in Melbourne and you've got the game, promotion game and relegation game at Perth, Saturday night or whatever, Perth against Sydney FC, you're going to watch that game.
Of
because
course.
and if you, for example, you see South Melbourne against Knight and the team is getting promoted, the stadium will be packed.
I'm going.
But now, if it's not, people say, oh, man, grand final in NPL, how many people do you have? Peanuts. People every time say, man, you'll see those clubs in B League, it's going to be crazy. It's an NPL league, man. It's just, we change the name.
Fahid, do you think... Sorry, Rash, go.
No, you go.
Do you think that because there's more pressure that the squads will be better, there'll be more squad depth, the players will be technically better, they might reserve how much... I don't know, they run and stuff.
But you'll have better players. First of all, clubs will have to work to bring better players.
Yeah.
Now you can't be lazy because there is punishment or consequences if you fail.
Well, it's the basics of economics, bro. That's why the council is...
Now as a sports director or whatever, you have
nightmare.
teams. You need to make sure your 5 foreigners are going to be good. That's the first thing. And then you go out to sign all the best young Aussies, everything, because you know they can change everything if you have a strong squad. Now you work and you have more competitive team. When you play the Asian Cup and all that stuff, you have teams actually trying to go there and win it instead of just participating. Unfortunately, whatever for actually this year,
the Asian Cup is
this year, like you see, Central Coast and MacArthur did really well. City actually lost in a group, but to be honest, they actually tried. But usually, you've got clubs just going there. It costs them money, so it's hard because it costs them more money than what they make. So it's hard financially here to survive. But if you make it more interesting, you have TV, they can pay more money. Sponsors will pay more money. Fans, you'll have packed stadium.
I'm just starting to wonder now if there
wait.
was such a delay, like the reason that the delay of the A-League staying as it was is I wonder if they were trying to model it off AFL. They were like, oh, AFL does this.
They were.
So,
yeah, but it's...
which is like obviously final series and all that
Bro, that's
stuff.
why they did it.
Yeah,
to market it to Aussie sports fans. That's why they did it. I hate it. Because a normal league is off points. The only other leagues that I can think of that do that is America, which is they've tried to model it off, NBA and NFL and all that.
Yeah, but it works because they also have a lot of money. And first of all, they have also competition. They have so many competition like the CONCACAF and all that stuff. So they play against like Mexican League and they have so many things, but they have a lot of teams as well.
Yeah.
And they do have money. Players are going there that change things.
But is there no promotion relegation in any of the American leagues, the bigger sports?
There's not in the MLS.
No, they don't. They're all like closed. NBA is the same, everything. Yeah. It's the same A-League, but you have 12 clubs here. Half of you have 4 big clubs, obviously. 4 clubs who massively, like the City, Victory, Western Sydney, and Sydney FC.
Yeah.
There's 4 other locomotives like in A-League. And then you have clubs trying to do the right thing. And then you have clubs, unfortunately, they're struggling financially because of owners, obviously, or ownership, or sometimes they don't even have. Perth, fortunately, they found someone. The last 2 or 3 years, it's been mayhem. The club didn't even have anything, so it's hard. And then you have the league trying to participate, to help financially, but you want to go there, like it's very hard. So
the A-League has had 3 teams fold in its 25, 24-year history. That's not good numbers. Gold Coast, New Zealand, North Queensland, maybe now Newcastle. Something's wrong.
you have, look, we're adding 1 team,
Yeah,
Auckland. It's in New Zealand. Like, it's crazy, to be honest. Like, you think about it. So you're going to have 2 teams in New Zealand playing in Australia. We call it, obviously, A-League. So I don't understand. Like, I understand the A-League is never going to be, people every time they try to compare with England, which is the dumbest thing. Because look at small countries. If I was in charge, or like, you know what, look at how they do in Portugal, in Holland. Those countries, like, they don't have massive money. They've got big clubs, but nothing crazy in terms of like money. But look at how they develop young players. Croatia and everything. Croatia, last 2 World Cups, it's like they went to semi-final or whatever.
There's more people in Melbourne than there is in the whole of Croatia.
So you look at that, how many top players, world-class players do they have? Like, look at how, go there and look at what they do. Like, bring coaches and everything.
And obviously money is at the center of all this stuff, right?
We do have the resources
But that's what I was going to say. Like, you cannot tell me there's not football fans that have a lot of money in Australia.
No,
that
but
could affect
the craziest thing is, like, the money here
like
to play.
Like in these NPL clubs, some of them 100% have.
But bro,
you know?
you've been part of the NPL. How much does it cost to play soccer here?
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the world, that is the craziest thing. It's supposed to be the cheapest sport. In Australia, it's the most expensive sport.
$2.5 grand.
So, and a lot of people cannot afford it, which is ridiculous because you just need a ball to play. And then you've got, unfortunately, coaches who have no clue and NPL clubs taking advantage and just to make money. But it doesn't help. Look at the national team today. They don't even have like a setup, like a proper center.
They don't have a home.
So, which is crazy. Like, it's in Australia, we do have money. Like here, like, don't get me wrong. Like, we have resources. We don't have a home. The Matildas, obviously, now they start having theirs, but the Socceroos should have theirs. Like, you had world-class player playing for Socceroos and that generation, 2006 and after. They did really well. The country qualifies for the World Cup every time. And they come back and they don't even have a home.
They don't capitalize.
I'm also thinking, like, let's say you're in a game of football and you're getting battered, right? What does everyone do in that situation? Everyone starts going like, you're not running back, you're not tracking back, you're not passing it this way. And everyone starts having to go right and not looking at themselves and going, what am I doing? How am I affecting this whole disaster negatively as well, right? Like, whose responsibility is it? Obviously, I have a responsibility. I have a soccer academy. There's an element of and I would love to have that responsibility because I'm training young kids, right? Like, I enjoy doing that. But where is the responsibility? Is it the FA? Is it the like as far as you know, because you're a little bit more behind the scenes? Is it the club owners? Is it like?
I think everyone has their role, and some people aren't playing it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think also, look, you have clubs. Some of the clubs, it's very easy. Like, you've got, okay, I'm going to take Central Coast because it's probably the best example today. It's not a club spending a lot of money, but the last 2 years, they've been very successful in terms of results, and they've been doing really well transferring players. So they have an idea of, we bring players who didn't do really well, try to give them a chance, and we have our academy, try to develop young players to sell and make money. Is that going to be sustainable? I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe not. So we don't know. But at the moment, it's working. Then you have clubs like Melbourne City, who financially and everything, they do have the resources. And the last 3 or 4 years, they've been doing really well in terms of bringing visa players. They've been transferring some of the Aussie, like you take Boss, Mark Otilio, some of the players they brought back. Someone like Lecky. They've signed players like the last couple of years, like Berisha, Tolga Arslan, everything. So it's a team, to be honest, like you look at them and said, okay, they're doing really well for the league, but they're trying to have some Socceroos, everything. So you look at a club like Victory, they're supposed to have resources, fans. The idea is obviously to have the best players and to win, and now it looks like they're trying to have some young players also coming through. All of them should have that mentality, so should have that philosophy. Now it goes to which sports director or academy director do you have? The coaches, what kind of philosophy? Because it's some of the club might not be interested, but financially today, everyone is going toward the same kind of thing. I mean, the big clubs to have like really good foreigners, couple of good players, but also young players coming through to make money. That should be the idea of every club here, because financially to sustain, you need that. Now it's like, do you give them a chance? Do you have the right coach who's going to play the young players, who's going to give them a chance? Because not every coaches can work with young players. But in the academy, do you have the right coaches who are going to take the 14 and 15 years old and make him a better player? Because unfortunately, you don't want to spend money in academies. The majority of the clubs don't spend money. They pay whatever, 20 grand, 15 grand, whatever.
Facts.
People don't want to do that. Now you ask me personally, so if a club comes to me and says, oh, you want to coach? I don't want to do it. If, for example, it has, I mean, for people, it has to be worth it.
Yep.
So now people say, oh, yeah, but it's a chance for, no, man, you're not going to have someone, you're not going to have a really good coaches unless you pay good money. If you want to bring someone from Europe or whatever, you're still going to have to pay him a certain amount of money. So it comes about the finance. But now if you think of a long term, I wouldn't be afraid to go to Europe and say, man, I'm happy to give you a really good salary here. You're going to be the director of the academy. You're going to set up a proper program, bring the people under you, everything, because those 13, 14 years old, everything will be good. But it's also, you will live in Melbourne. If the best 14 years old lives in Perth, how you bring him here? How are you going to bring him here?
Well,
In Europe,
you
played in Argentina. If the best kid was San Lorenzo, whatever, but you had a 15 years old living in the north, and for example, Boca Junior wanted to sign. Boca Junior can sign him. They put him in an academy. He goes to school. They look after him. Doesn't have to do anything. You can't do it here.
Yeah,
You don't have any facilities. You don't have a hotel or whatever where the players obviously stay, like a proper academy. You can't do that.
But then, so where? But that's what I'm saying. So, like, where does that come? Is that the APL or something to start to seek out the investors? Because obviously, it always comes back to money.
Yeah, but if I was the owner of a club, okay, you start a new club, think about obviously you want success straight away. So you need to make sure you're gonna sign good players. So you need to have a certain amount of money for the seniors. That's the first thing, because you need success to attract players, also to attract people, sponsors, everything. You're gonna need to win at one point. But you need to start, I will say, okay, let's build facilities where I've got my 15, 16 years old, 17 years old staying there, sleeping there, thinking football, going to school. You work with schools. They can obviously, they adapt the school with training. That's how it works in Europe. For example, if the kids have training after school, everyone, the program is adapted to them. If they have training morning, for example, they know they can go to school after, whatever, everyone. So school is as important as football, but it works together. We don't have that here. Kids train three times a week. You go to 15, 16 years old in Europe, they train like 6-7 times. At that age, it's massive.
On that, I agree. I don't know much about it, but I agree. But City's new facility looks. Have you seen
amazing?
It's.
But you know what? Look, you gotta give credit, man. It's actually the club, in terms of what they've been doing the last couple of years, and obviously having the City group at the back is amazing.
Well,
the best group in the world.
You know what they're doing and what they've been achieving on the field. Signing players, obviously building the facilities. It's amazing. It's not easy because sometimes you do have the resources and you make stupid decisions. It's one of the clubs, to be honest, and obviously the people working there have been doing an amazing job. And it is probably today, in terms of club, the biggest club in Australia in terms of everything, that do not have the fans, the support yet. That's one of the things they're missing, because when you go to one of their game, it's not victory. That's one of the things with victory. It's supposed to be, if victory is supposed to be the best club in terms of fans and everything. So I hope they can get back to that. In terms of results, they're getting better, obviously. They do have a good team, to be honest. But that's the thing I would say it's missing for City. It's having an amazing, a good crowd. Because in terms of facilities, players have been signing, selling, everything. They've been doing an amazing job.
But that's the thing; it will come. The fans will come gradually.
I hope so, because they deserve it. Because they do deserve it. When you look at what they've been doing, the last 4 years, it is by far 5 years. Look, to be honest, 5 years, it's been by far the best club in terms of everything. Look at what they've been doing, the facilities. It's
I'm good friends with the community officer there, and he says people just judge us off crowd attendances. But he really seems to hammer home that the work they do with the community, They probably have the best academy in Australia. The facilities. You go, okay, I know it's in Cranbourne, but you go out there, Victory is still training on a literal paddock. Victory are at Gosh's paddock. Still.
You know, I loved it.
I think I like that. I like that.
You know what? I'm gonna say something. When I first came here, it was kind of because you know it's in the city. Because I actually lived in the city, so it was like 5-minute drive.
Easy, yeah.
That was amazing. And
because you're walking out from the change rooms.
It's weird. It's weird because
stadium,
because it's not close. Like you should, as a soccer player, you're supposed to have like something close, like it's yours.
Yeah.
So there you walk, it's like a public park.
Yeah.
You have people training on the pitch, and they see you and they just leave, and I was like, what the fuck? But I enjoyed it.
You can watch Victory sessions.
But I agree when I see a couple of Western Sydney, like to be honest, like they have nice facilities, everything. So those clubs, but that's what they're doing is amazing. Like they also have coaches of former players who are coaching the academy, and so which obviously helps, and you have that credibility, and it's a good thing. Obviously, they do have the resources, but they're smart enough to use it the right way. Some of the clubs, unfortunately, do have resources and they don't do the right thing.
But also, I've seen stuff of clubs not pushing their players to do the community stuff. You know, I don't know what Melbourne City do, but how important that is for what they're not doing it at City.
City are good. City are good.
Right. But
City are good, but certain other clubs are shit at it.
And it's when you're a player, there's a bit of an element of like, I finished training, I just want to go home, right? But then when you get there, you know what this is like. Then when you get there to these groups of hundreds of kids or whatever, and you see the effect that you have on how important that is, obviously for the individual kid, but just also for the club.
Yeah.
And
now it's very common in every sport. Like I'm a massive fan of NBA. And you have that a lot, like you have those massive stars going, like, you know, into the community,
hospitals,
doing a lot of things, hospitals, but like schools, like, you know, because they all obviously want them to have fans, become fans and everything, to help them play basketball, everything. So it helps. If here we're not big enough, but obviously having those clubs going to school, like, you know, clubs and everything, it will help. And it does help. Look, the majority of the clubs, they try to do that. Seriously, like, I was part of Victory, even Brisbane back then, everything. I don't know how it is now, but every club's try. It's just at one point, like, we are playing in a country where it's about AFL, cricket, rugby. It's not easy, but unfortunately, as I get back on that, if the football was more interesting, it will help. At one point, and you have a lot of people going and trying to spend money. They go to games, and when it gets boring, you imagine the season finishes in May. When does it start?
October.
Yeah,
it's too long.
Imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. So if you like soccer, you finish in May. You have to wait October to start to go into another game. So
and then you start going to AFL because that's when AFL is on.
Exactly, and then you start going AFL, and so you play in October, November, and that's summer. So people go away.
Yep.
Usually they don't want to watch football. It's too hot. So January. And then AFL and everything comes back. Yep. So that's what people. I don't understand. And you've got the NPL. They play during obviously different period. Season, which is the dumbest thing. Like you've got an A-League playing at that time, and every amateur clubs are playing at a different time.
Oh yeah,
which is, man. Sometimes I wonder those guys in the office when they have a meeting at the federation or the league, and someone comes up with like a dumb idea, and everyone's like, "Man, that's a really good idea, man."
Yes, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just common sense, and you say that, man, how did we make that decision? And that's the kind of thing like. I don't get it. I don't understand why we start in October. I don't.
It's the stadiums, right?
It's imagine seriously. Look,
need to get Fahid in the offices.
No, but look, I tried to bring players obviously here.
Yeah.
But when you have players coming and said, "Oh, it's gonna be a 3 or 4 months pre-season," they said, "Nah, man, thanks. No, thanks. Nah, man." because you ask them to be here on the 1st of July and you start in October. That is crazy.
We've got to cut it because someone's coming in like a minute. But Fahid, you're going to have to come back, bro, because I've got a billion more questions. Thank you, Nor, for sending me some of those. Again, bro, thank you. That's
pleasure,
awesome. Man. That's one of the best podcasts I've ever done. I can't lie. Hopefully have you back on soon. Good luck with the agents side of things and all your players and stuff. I hope everything goes well for you. And have you got anything else, Rashi?
No, that's it. That's enough, bro.
Yeah. I'm going to make it 2 eps,
okay.
I think. But suited and booted, Fahid Ben KHALFALLAH, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, man, please. YouTube's the god. Just subscribe and comment and all that. Thank you.